Hello and welcome to our new episode of the Unmistakable Woman Show. I hope you are enjoying the episode so far, and I would love to hear from you. If you have listened to them, send me a DM on Instagram. Let me know how they land, what shifted for you, how have you seen things differently, what breakthrough you had. I would love to hear from you so I can also really create more of what you love and what you want to know more about. And also, I would love for you, if you love the podcast, to add a review on Spotify or Apple Podcast, and if it's really authentically a review you want to leave, and share it with me either via email at support@elisacanali.com or again on Instagram at @Canali. So today's episode is going to be a bit controversial because the title is Stop trying to add more value. And I know it sounds maybe counterintuitive or different from what you heard. Because one of the most common pieces of advice is in the online business world is just give value. Give more value. Create more content. Teach more. Give away more. Share more. Explain more. Add more things. And for years, I believed that. So I created longer trainings, for hours training, more PDFs, more frameworks, more information, more strategy, like giving a lot of value. Which I'm not saying is wrong, especially when, and I'm drinking my alcohol-free beer, because if you don't know me, I'm sober since April last year. One of the best decisions I've ever made for myself, for my body, for my channel. So I just want to share this piece. So I did that for a long time, and I'm not saying it's wrong, especially if you are at the beginning of your journey and you are trying still to position yourself, to get your brand in front of people, to get known. Like at the beginning of my business, like I gave a lot of free value, like trainings, coaching sessions, a lot of like hours and hours, coaching one-on-one, mastermind coaching, like you name it, I did it because I was eager, I was willing, I was all in to be known, to become known the fastest way possible. I was not someone who was sitting there and waiting for things to arrive. I was a go-getter. I have a 1% mentality. I have super high standards for myself, my company, my relationship, my body. So of course, I had the same standard for my business and my visibility. So at the beginning, I did a lot of visibility, especially for free. I taught in mastermind for free. I did a lot of summit for free, podcasts, you name it, I did it. But then the more I grew and I became known, it's funny because some people even say, you are famous. I don't see myself as famous. But some people, when I see me on their feed, that I follow them, that I comment to something, they're like, oh my God, you comment on my post, I made it. And I'm like, ooh, that's so cool. But I still don't see myself like that. So I start asking myself something. If value creates demand, okay? That's what we have been taught. Value creates demand. Why are the people educating the most, giving away information, are struggling to sell, and especially sell premium luxury high ticket offer? And why there are other people who say less, who give less, but can command extraordinary prices and can command extraordinary businesses and have like people constantly buy from them. And I think the conclusion I arrived to is that we have confused information with transformation, especially right now in the age of AI. Right now, we live in a world where information is everywhere. Information is free everywhere. You can learn marketing on YouTube. You can learn branding on ChatGPT. You can learn content on Claude. You can learn sales on a podcast. Information is everywhere. It's never been more available. Knowledge has become abundant. What has become really rare to see is perspective, as I was talking in the previous episodes. Like perspective shifts content or brand, like they have become really rare, really invaluable. Because right now, like we are all drawing in information, in more content, in more and more, but then we don't necessarily buy from people who give us more information. Because information tells people what to do. But perspective change how they see the world and themselves. And when someone sees the world and themselves differently, they cannot unsee it, and they start, before they even work with you, just by being in your reading your content or listening to your podcast or YouTube, they start already transforming. So they are not saying, wow, I got so much information from this training, I got so much value from this podcast. They say, wow, in that podcast episode, I had such a huge breakthrough. I had such a huge mindset shift. I had such a huge perspective shifts. I had such a huge haha moment. And of the entire thing, of the entire episode, that's what they're going to remember. Not the information. So think about the people you remember. Normally, those are the people that changed your life. Like at school, remember even at school, I had great teachers who taught, or university who taught me great concepts. But the one I still remember and that changed my life are the one who made me see things in a different way. I always remember my teacher in high school of philosophy, and that's why I also then studied at university philosophy. She made me fall in love with philosophy, not because she was the best teacher, but because the way she was explaining it, the way she was helping me see philosophy, rather than, oh, this boring old thing and books, was like, wow, inside philosopher, there is literally the entire perspective shift of the world. Like, philosophers are master at perspective shifts. And that's also why I'm really good at creating perspective shifts content and ideas and framework, because I'm a philosopher. So I never regurgitate what I see, but I interpret through my intelligence, through my mind, through my lens, and then I create a shift in perspective in my clients. That's also what I've always been really known for when I was teaching human design and Jinkies and I had my certification, was the fact that the way I taught human design and Jinkies was completely different. Like, people have never heard it before, because it was through my own perspective. And then showing them, my clients, how they could see things in a different lens. So the people you remember the most, the mentor, the teacher, are the people who changed your worldview, who changed your perspective. Maybe they gave language to something you couldn't explain. Maybe they saw something in you that you didn't see before. Maybe they said that one single thing that were like, whoa, mind-blowing, that changed everything. And luxury brands understand this so well. This is one of the biggest lessons I actually learned from studying luxury brands. Luxury is not created by adding more. It's created by increasing meaning. For example, an Hermes bag isn't valuable because the number of pockets. Or a Rolex isn't valuable because it says the time more perfectly or accurately. People don't buy the feature of the watch or the bag. They pay for significance. The same is true for your business. Your clients are not paying for another workbook. They are paying for a different way of seeing themselves and the world. They are paying for a different identity, for a different reality, for a new identity. So, one of the biggest shifts I ever made was to stop trying to prove how much I knew. Like at the beginning of my career, I wanted people to see how much I knew, how much I was intelligent, that I had certification, that I had studied, that I knew psychology, human design, gene keys, business, branding, sales. I thought authority came from demonstrating I was very knowledgeable. Now, I think authority comes from personal power, from leadership, from certainty, from clarity, from audacity, from standard. Because the best mentors are not the one with the most answers. They are actually the one who know how to ask the better questions. And that's something that clients always reflected back to me, like, wow, this question is so good. I never thought about it. And I was not telling them what to think. I was asking them powerful questions so they can find what they actually think. So what people actually buy? People don't buy coaching, strategy, branding. I think they buy a new relationship with themselves. When someone joins my world, I'm not trying to make them be more like me, think more like me, speak more like me. I'm actually want to help them hear themselves more clearly, see themselves more clearly, remember their power more clearly. That's why my clients raise their prices, launch the business, speak on stage, create their own methodology, create their own retreats. Not because I gave them another framework, but because they stopped doubting the wisdom and the power and the authority they already had. So your brand doesn't need more content. If you're constantly asking yourself, what else can I teach? I'd love to offer you a different question. Instead, ask yourself, what belief have I changed because of my own life? That's where your greatest content lives. Not in everything you learned, but in everything you have discovered. And those are your unique perspective, your unique ideas, your unique stories that nobody else can copy because you only have them. You only have that perspective. So today I would love you to reflect on this. Are you trying to become more valuable, or are you trying to become more unforgettable, more meaningful? Because it's not the same thing. Like, information has a certain value and people can take notes, but perspective change life. And the woman who builds unforgettable, unmistakable brands and businesses, they are remembered because they help people see themselves different and open for people a new possibility, a new identity, a future vision, a future identity, a possibility that they never thought before. The internet right now has enough information. AI, YouTube, like, we have information everywhere. But what the world is starving for is original perspective. I will see you on the next episode. Bye for now.